Hello, I'm Marine Polkov, and today we'll take a look at how to configure Search the Edge functionality in Tab-Right Edge. When you go on the home page, you see the question mark next to the Search the Edge heading. When you click on it, you will see what is currently being configured for searching. And there are several aspects to configuration. First of all, you see which asset collections are being indexed for the Search the Edge. Then within those collections, there could also be selection based on classes, which instances should be indexed. And then you'll see what properties are being indexed for the free text search. And finally, you'll see the selected search facets. In this case, we are not seeing any because we have not configured anything. How do you select for the collection to be indexed by Search the Edge? Well, this could be done in a couple of different ways. One is you could indicate this at creation. So let's say, let's create a new taxonomy and call it demo taxonomy. And right here we have a checkbox for including it in the index for Search the Edge. And that's pretty much it. If you don't want to expose it immediately to the Search the Edge indexing, you could do this later by going to the Manage tab, and there's a checkbox for you to remove this or include this when you're ready for it to be exposed to searching. Now, by default, searchable properties are always label, preferred label, and alternative label. Additional search properties can be specified. And other configuration can be made in a special Search the Edge config page in the Server Administration Console. So what we just did is good for the quick addition of the asset collection to the search index, but if you want to do further customization, you'll go to the Server Administration Console and click on the Search the Edge configuration page. And here you'll see this were the collections that we've selected to be indexed. And then we have a couple of tabs here, a few tabs here, where we could make additional selection. First of all is search properties, and you could click on the icon here to better understand what this is. And essentially, search properties are those properties that will be used in the index. So you could use the keyword and free text search against the values of those properties. By default, as I mentioned, preferred label, alternative label, and comment are always pre-selected, but you could add other properties. And here we've added asset name and the definition. So let's add something else. For example, I know that there's a number of notes fields, and we could find them by starting to type the property name in this box, and we'll get an autocomplete. And let's say I want to add the editorial note, and now it's added to the search index. Next tab lets us configure facets. The type facet is included by default. It can be enabled and disabled. Keep in mind that since every single resource has this value, if you have a lot of data, this option may slow up search somewhat, so you will need to try it out. Any object type property could serve as a faucet. So if for this example, I'm gonna add a few, for example, broader. I know we have some values for the broader property, so we're gonna use that one. Also, let me pick alumni off, and column off. There you go. The next option is setting up semantic search, and it's related to the faceted search. We could use some facets as suggestions to semantic search. After we've done configuring, and I'm going to do a couple of searches to demonstrate how this works. So here we picked alumni of and column of as suggestions in this for the semantic search. Note that we also can order facets by changing the order value. If there's no order value specified, or if it's the same, in our case it's just 0, then facets will be ordered alphabetically as they are shown here. I don't want to change this, so I'm going to leave it as this. Now with semantic search, what happens is there's suggestion matching based on the value of the resource that is used as a facet. And here I could pick the properties of that resource for which that are used for matching. Since label, preferred label, and alternative label are already picked, I don't need to set anything special. So I'm going to keep it as this, as is. Now we're going to come to a summary view. Summary view let us determine what is being displayed in the results page of the search. So you could see there's a number of selections here, for example, reference link, asset name, type, alternative label, definition, comment. Label or preferred label is always displayed. We don't need to select it. Again, here we could specify the order, and we also can specify how the value is displayed. Normally it's just displayed as text, which is a label-like styling, but we have other stylings available to us. For example, reference link is a URL, so we picked here hyperlink style. And here are other options we have. So let's say if we want to include images, then we would pick image-like style. If we wanted to include a link that will fire another search edge search, then we'll use clickable search style, etc. For now, I'm not going to change anything here. I'm going to add another property to be displayed in a summary, physical data type. All right. So the next tab, let us configure a details view. When you have results displayed in the summary view, you have a link to show more information. This link will show you a form with all information about the resource. Now, if we don't want users to see all information about the resource, we could configure a details view. And in this case, we could pick some selection of fields to show about resources. This is an option if you don't want users to see all the available information. But if you're not interested in it, then you just skip the detail view configuration. And we're gonna do this. All right, now that we made all our configurations, we'll see how they show up in the search. Before we do that, I want to select another asset collection to include in a search index, schema.org. This will give us data that uses alumni of properties. Schema.org has some information about people and what colleges they went to. So we're going to use that to see how semantic search works. Now that we have made those changes, we need to wait until index rebuilds. This happens every hour. When you start up Right Edge, the search index gets built, and then it gets refreshed hourly after that start time. To speed this up, we could also go to the cached graph page from the administrative console and ask to refresh Lucene index. All right. This may take a couple of minutes, but we should be able to start searching now. Let's switch to Tab Right Edge homepage and start our search. I'm going to search for balance. Search page opens up, and we'll see here how our configurations have played out. So we see has broader as a facet, in addition to the default type facet. And then when we look at the summary page results, we'll see that for some of the results, we see definition and type. These were our selections. And then for some of the results, we see asset name and reference link and the type. This was also our selection. Now, if a result has values for all those properties, then they will all be displayed in the summary. But in our case, some have some of those values and others have some other values. And as you could see, reference link is displayed as a hyperlink that is clickable because that's the style that we have chosen. So, and we could in fact click on it and go to the page. So let's do another search. Let's search on right. Here we see that we have some database columns. And for the column, if you remember, we picked a physical data type as a value to display in the results, and we see that. And we also now have, column of facet available. We no longer have has broader facet displayed because none of the values that we got none of the results that we've got has a value for this property. Now let's see how semantic search may work. And we could start by typing. And here we have some suggestions. So if we're interested in Harvard, we could just continue to type Harvard and get that match results. But Tab Right Edge suggests to us that maybe we're interested in alumni of Harvard. And if that's the case, then we could pick that choice, and what we get returned are actually people who are alumni of Harvard. Okay, this concludes our demo of the configuring Search the Edge, and hopefully this gives you enough information to start playing with this feature and configuring it. If you have any questions, as usual, write to us at info@duckwarden.com.